I feel like you know what your calling is by now. You hear it, a cluster of similar things grouped together. So I could be talking to a similar minded group. I could be talking to the masses right now. I feel like you know what your calling is. The masses being trapped. Um, the masses, people thinking similarly minded. It could have something to do with group thinking. I could be talking to an individual who leads a new revolution, a new wave of thought for this masses to adopt, following Christ, living in freedom, serving the Lord, fully working for receiving your blessings as a child of God, um, being led by the Spirit. Let's pull some messages for you. Philippians want to come out. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report. If there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. So I may be talking to some people who needed to hear that, to be positive no matter what. Think about good things. Think about good memories, things that make you feel joyful. We have Mark, First Peter. Okay. They answering said, John the Baptist, but some say Elias, and others say that one of the old prophets is risen again. So this is about you clearing a path, or a path being cleared for you. I feel like a path has been cleared for you. And so now all you need to do is walk forward. These images are very similar. Is a multitude, a crowd of people. Um, this could be about your perspective, your perception, your point of view as the audience is now facing you and watching you, listening. The figures are gathered before a monumental perspective, architecture dominated by arches, reminiscent of Bramante's designs for the rebuilding of St. Peter's. Shall I read that again? The figures are gathered before monumental perspective architecture dominated by arches reminiscent of Bramante's designs for the rebuilding of St. Peter's. This idealized meeting of thinkers is led by Plato and Aristotle, the most significant classical philosophers who stand at the center of the painting. There's a lot to be said about this very beautiful artwork. I feel like this new masses as a beautiful thing as God's people and someone that you can love. You don't always have to, well, I won't say always, but if there was some animosity towards groups, if you had some anxiety towards speaking, public speaking, and you might have doubled down so hard and really tried to ground your nerves in such a way that you started to see these people as enemies and you just felt more comfortable being angry at them. But you really had no reason except for the fact that it's your purpose to speak to them. Um, when people say imagine someone nude is supposed to help you feel better. That's probably a lot what these cards have to do, because a lot of these cards do depict nudity, and it may have to do with your nerves. Simultaneously, beneath the golden violet aureole of angels, the Israelites can be seen adoring the golden calf. So is that aureole, aureole? The left section of the fresco includes the presentation of the tablets to the people. At the top of the painting, we see Moses accompanied by his sleeping apprentice Joshua kneeling at the summit of the mountains in readiness to receive the tablets of the law from the hand of God. So I feel like you're at the peak of your consciousness right now, and you're waiting for your message. You're waiting for the rules, your guidelines, what you're about to do, what you're about to take. Um, I see Song of Solomon here. I have compared thee, O my love, to a company of horses and Pharaoh's chariots. The chariot is about pushing forward, moving forward, advancing, and looking round about upon them all. He said unto the man, stretch forth thy hand. I'm hearing as far as, like when you stretch your hand out and you see at a hand's width, is really like almost like minding your business, and you see this stretch forth hand also as the man being healed of leprosy, I believe. This is Luke chapter 6, if you want to look into that, but I'm feeling like the emphasis is really on stretching forth your hand, is really on reaching out, your reach, having a reach that expands, that reaches the expanse of your hands, or something like a crowd, speaking to a smaller crowd. That's what I hear. I feel like the world card is coming out here. Yes, it's speaking to the smaller audience that you have, and being more intimate with the smaller audience, being more self-assured and confident. And then we have the chariot. The chariot card really wanted to come out because that's what the stretch forth hand is related to, is the chariot, which means to plunge forward. And I'm so glad I have my guidebook so we can look this up. Movement, determination, hard work. And there is this emphasis on forward moving. Not being boggled down, or maybe even going in spite of this depression that you feel. I just saw 8:08 on the clock. The resemblance of these cards is very obvious. You have an alignment, an array of thoughts and emotions. Your emotions are somewhat positive. It's a wish fulfillment. You get what you received, what you wished for. You receive what you wished for. And then I feel like you went through a lot to get this wish. Like you went through a lot of turmoil and heartache. It may be noticeable. You may still carry the scars, but you get what you want. And I feel like what you wanted and what you want of is attention. You want the voices. You want the ears. You want you want to hear. You want the ears to hear your voice. You want to speak to a large crowd of people, but you have to start small. That's what I'm hearing, and be more intimate. Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. When the chief priests, therefore, and officers saw him, they cried out, saying, crucify him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, take ye him and crucify him, for I find no fault in him. So let's take those two messages with this, you being comfortable and the world knowing who your husband is, knowing who you serve, knowing who you are, knowing who you submit to, and then your God being crucified. They want to kill him as soon as you. I feel like that's where this fear comes from. But you're still gonna have faith because you know that he rises. But yeah, as soon as you get comfortable, you feel like the attacks start, and it's very clear. It's not in your head. This is happening. Demons are very in tune to Christ. They are very afraid, and yes, they do fight as soon as he enters. Brothers, finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. This is Philippians 4:18. I'm getting chills right now because I believe, did we start this message off with Philippians? Oh, so close. Yes. So, I just found a typo, but we're going to focus on the message. It's Philippians 4:8, and this says Philippians 4:18. So that's, now you see why I'm using the actual words of the Bible. It says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are love, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. Oh, that's a beautiful message. I want to sit here all day, honestly, these messages, and just keep in mind that, people make mistakes. I'm pretty sure this is an honest typo, but I feel like that has to do with your perception of the audience as well, and why you want to go big or go out or go home is because a small number of people have hurt you, and you built up this grudge, and it builds up over time because of the way you see things. Like, if somebody hurts you, you don't forgive them, you just hold on to it, and you say, well, I'm going to find somebody better than you. If it's a small audience, it might have started off with your parents, and then your family members, and then your friends, and your colleagues, and whole towns and whole cities have hurt you, whole communities, whole genres of thought, and it just makes you expand and go into this grandiose personality where, you have to conquer more because you want more. And also because you really haven't received that approval and appreciation that you're looking for from an intimate group, someone from basically like your parents. So I feel like, and the message is really coming to me by putting these messages together, is saying something about you forgiving this small audience, because we're going to bring it back home, bring it back to this intimate setting, you submitting to Christ, knowing that Christ is your head. And yes, they will crucify him, they will attack him. They're not attacking you. Christ sits in your position. He hangs on the cross in your place, in your stead, as they attack your foundation. Just have faith and rest on him.